Hi everybody, this is Pastor Bonnie and we're going to be working on this painting. These are the paints that I used, and I got these. They're actually professional paints that I ordered on Amazon. They weren't that expensive, but they're called Winsor & Newton, and I just love them. It's a little travel box that I can take everywhere. So if you want to find some really great professional watercolor paints that aren't that expensive, these are great. So what I did is I picked up some blue paint and then just spattered it all over the page, and that's going to be our background. And this is one of my very favorite techniques. I love to do the spattering, and it's really fun because you don't know what it's going to look like until you start to work with it. And the painting that we're doing are called Snowdrops, and they're white flowers, and the way that the painting came out, it looks like they're in a snowbank or in a snowstorm. And it was just really cool because as I was working on it, the Lord just reminded me that there's beauty in the middle of the snowstorm. And of course, where I live, I'm in the Northeast. And I'll continue back and forth with my story and what I'm doing in the video, but you can see I'm just using the paintbrush to move the dots around to get the background. I did tape the paper down, and I think this one was like a 8 by 10, I'm not sure, but I keep adding the dots on it until I get the color saturation that I want. And when you tape the paper down, because it gets really wet, it will curl otherwise. And I just use a piece of cardboard with masking tape. But anyway, back to my story. So it's winter time in the Northeast. We just had a beautiful snowstorm. Every tree branch is covered. It just looks like a winter wonderland. And of course, we have a lot of pine trees around. So it's, it's almost like Christmas after Christmas. So I just want to tell you the colors that I use for this are just simple. It's just blue, black, and I think I might have put a little tiny hint of green in it. So, and I wanted the gray tones mixed in so you can see how the spatters spread as the paper gets wetter as you work with it. And then I did some white, and that just spread. And what you do is you dip the paintbrush in and then you tap it on another paintbrush. It just works really well to do that. So sorry for that, you guys. But anyway, when I finished the painting, so I have to tell you, winter is not my favorite time of the year. It just isn't. I don't like January at all because it's the longest, coldest month of the year. And and my husband and I are kind of in this waiting place. We moved here about a year and a half ago from out west, and the cost of living is much, much higher here. The housing is just impossible. So the biggest dream I have is for us to buy a mobile home. We're both newly retired. He's still working and I'm still doing my pottery business. But we want to position ourselves. So anyway, actually I'm going to tell you what I'm doing here too for a minute. I told you I'll keep going back and forth. So here's the white. Now I did use acrylic white paint because you can see how the white shows up better on the canvas, on the paper, and it's just watercolor paper that I used. Anyway, so just like January, where you're waiting for spring, that's where I feel like I am. And those waiting times are awful. You have to trust God with everything in you, and you just have to hold steady and wait on the Lord, and that's where we are. And actually, I think I'm going to make the petals here. Yeah, so we're going to do that. So I'm just using the acrylic paint, and you can see it's just 3 or 4 petals that you make like a teardrop shape. It's really simple and easy. So back to my story. So when I got this painting done, and I see these beautiful flowers against the snowy background, because I didn't know what it was going to look like when I was working on it. And that's the fun part. When I work on these paintings, I never know what they're going to come out like. So I'm just as surprised as you are. But you can see how easy this technique was. And I do want to tell you, I did wait for the background to dry, because if you try to put the white acrylic paint on a wet background, it would just smudge. So I did wait for it to dry, and now I'm just adding the petals. But anyway, the Lord uses everything in our life, and I've learned that nothing is by accident. He really does plan our lives out. It says in Psalm 139 that every day of our life was planned out before we were even born, because God is so big. He knows the beginning from the end, and He knows what we're going to do with our lives. So it always brings me comfort when I'm in a waiting period that God knows, and He meets me right where I am, and so what he showed me through this painting is that there's beauty in the middle of the waiting, and that the snow actually brings nourishment to the flowers. So if you're in a dry time and it's a waiting time, God is with you during it, and He's going to help you with it. He knows how hard it is. And so here, I think actually I got these out of order. So this was a little more of the background, and I'm sorry you guys, I think I got these two out of order. So I just added a little more black and a little more blue to the background. Let's see if the next, yeah, sorry, that was out of order. And then now we're going back to the flowers, and I just took black, I think it's black, my black watercolor paint. So this is not acrylic, this is watercolor, and the paint that I told you about, it's professional because it's got a deeper concentration. I think I paid $20 for it, so it wasn't that expensive. And then I'm just drawing a stem on each flower. You'll be able to see it better in a minute once I get this stem done. So this one, we're just gonna go ahead and add the stems on it. And you can see it's just a really easy procedure. So sorry about that. I had to pause the video for just a minute because the oil company just arrived, and we're really grateful because we ran out of oil and it was cold last night. It's about 18 degrees here. So anyway, you can see I'm just adding the stems and the leaf, and when you do the leaf, you just want to push down on the brush, and you can see how it will just, because I think I'm still using a really fine point brush. And then I just like to bend the leaf on the edge to make it look more realistic. So the colors, like I said, are just blue, black, white for this painting. Just 3 simple colors, so it's really easy. And then I'm just adding more leaves to kind of fill it in a little bit and make it look like it's a bouquet. But you can, now I always tell people when you do these, yours is going to look different than mine is, because even though we do the same technique, every person is different. And so that's the cool part about doing these paintings. But it's a super easy technique, and I hope you find it really relaxing. And I love to share the stories because I hope that they'll encourage you. We all go through different things in our life. And I'm just so grateful for how the Lord speaks to us. And I've learned that nothing is by coincidence. Everything that we think is coincidence really isn't. So God loves you, and He has a plan for your life, and things are not by coincidence in your life either. And now we're just going to do the last part. Actually, I think I'm just adding a few more little petals with it. And so it's just been a super easy, fun process, and you can add as many flowers as you want. Like I said, these are called Snowdrops, and they're just really pretty and relaxing. And something I've been doing is I've been doing a painting a day as part of my devotions, and I've been setting aside some time to, I kind of break it up. I like to walk and pray. We do live on a nature trail. And right now, of course, it's covered in snow, so I can't walk it. So I walk in the house, or I walk on the porch, and I like to set my timer for 15 minutes and just talk to the Lord. And then something else that I've started to incorporate is I take a psalm and I pray it. I don't just read it, but I pray it. And I tell you what, you guys, God just shows me so many things by doing that. So I would encourage you, if you've never tried that before, it's so amazing. And He will really speak to you. And the Word of God is powerful. And it's easy. It's not a hard thing to do. And then the other thing I like to do is I'll journal. I like to get my feelings out, and then I'll talk to the Lord about it. I talk to Him just like I'm talking to you. And, it's the coolest thing because I'll get flashes of insight and that's the Lord. That's how he talks to you. And I'll see pictures in my mind, or he'll drop memories that he wants me to remember. It's really amazing. So what I've done is I incorporate the painting as part of my devotional time. And now we're doing the last part. This is, sorry, this is my favorite part. These are the white spatters. So you just wet the acrylic paint with water, and then you can see how it looks like really pretty snowflakes all over the painting. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've enjoyed sharing my story with you. Some of the videos I like to put music. This particular one I actually forgot to put it, so I thought I might as well just spend time with you and talk to you. So I hope that this has been relaxing. I hope that the stories are encouraging, and just know I really love you guys. And you need to sign your name always, and I always have to put the date, and I just sign it with an ink pen because I don't do very well with painting it. But that is the painting, and I will list it. I do have it listed on my website. It's Dragonfly Corners at Etsy.com. And then you can see here I'm just removing the tape, and it puts a nice edge on the paper, which I really like, and it's been a joy, like I said, to spend this time with you, and I hope that you'll try this painting, and I hope you'll maybe consider some of the techniques that I shared with you. If I can just help one person, that would be great. And I'm so sorry because my dogs are barking. Hold on, let me just see. Yeah. So here I'm adding some gold paint, watercolor paint. It's really pretty. It's metallic, and then you just spatter it all over the painting. So I did the white first, and it's just such a really pretty technique, and you'll see in just a minute because I'll do a little close up and you'll see it. Actually, the video doesn't do it justice, because when you put it in the light, it just sparkles. It's such a pretty technique, and I've gotten so I add that on just about every one of my paintings, the white spatters and the gold. It's so pretty. So I hope you've enjoyed this time. I've had so much fun talking to you, and as always, I pray for you guys every day. I pray that you'll be blessed and you'll have provision, and God will be close to you. And so here is the finished painting. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have fun trying it out. And much love to all of you. God bless.